The recording is started. You can do it.
Hi everyone. Welcome you all for today's session, and thank you all for taking time to join today. Um, this would be another session on SXA. Let's get started. I'll not again introduce myself, but thanks for Vinod for doing that. But otherwise, you can find me anywhere, LinkedIn or Twitter or community Slack with this handle Gopi Gujula, and my blog is at Gopi Gujula Dev. And a brief agenda about today is just we'll see about SXA introduction, and we'll look at what are the terminology, what are the new terms we come across when we are working on SXA, and what is the developer experience if you are already working on Sitecore. When you are coming onto SXA project, how would be the experience is different, and what are the customizations we generally look at when you are working on SXA. And tokens, there are a lot of variations of tokens are there. We look at guys, can you please go on mute? I'm getting a lot of feedback in the back. Thank you. And tokens, and we'll also look at what is the latest version. I mean, what is new thing in latest version, and we'll just quickly look at the demo how we were how the new features are, or how we can see in the SXA structure and everything. And before moving ahead, first of all, congratulations to all three of them. Like, they created the SUG Pune. I hope it grows rapidly, and it will be a big part of again larger SUG groups in India. And also, I wanted to make a point here, like, please be mindful, whoever it is, when you are welcoming new developers who are asking questions on various platforms, because there is no such question as a dumb question, because we are already working on platforms, so we might have already done that. But the new people will be coming onto the platform. They don't know anything about these new things, right? So please be mindful and please be welcoming to the new people who are all coming onto the platform. And
Yeah, agreed.
come on.
Yeah.
And mainly, we all know, right, what are the development approaches. If you, I hope everyone is a Sitecore developer here, because the prerequisite is we are talking on top of Sitecore, like SXA. So I hope everyone is already a Sitecore developer and working on Sitecore. So if you are already working on currently, these are the three development approaches we have on Sitecore. First is Sitecore custom build, which is we are doing it from few years now, and mainly it's just a vanilla Sitecore, and we build everything from scratch. But whereas the other way, the second is Sitecore SXA, which is Sitecore Experience Accelerator. Using this, like, it's an accelerator module. Obviously, we will be building on top of SXA components. And third is a Sitecore JSS, JavaScript services, which is another platform on Sitecore, which is a headless platform. So we can implement headless solutions on JSS. So today's our main focus is on SXA. And truth to be told, like, why we are learning SXA, because we already know about Sitecore custom builds, right? But I'm not going to dig much into details of like why SXA came in and all, because we already have, if you notice here, the first version released in August 2016. Just in a couple of months, it will finish, like, it is 4 years old. And we already had enough introduction sessions and a lot of rendering variant type and different sessions across SUG's India, like be it SUG Delhi and SUG Bangalore, SUG Chennai. We already had enough SXA sessions. So I'm not going to again dig in like why you need to learn and what it is. But for a developer point of view, like, why we need to learn now is in a nutshell, there are no new projects starting as a Sitecore custom build. At least whatever I have seen, whatever I have experienced, there are no new projects starting as a plain vanilla instance. It's either on SXA or JSS. Most of the projects. So we need to be upgrading ourselves to latest modules. So if you notice, the August 2016 is first version released, and November 2019 it was the last symposium. It was released 9.3. So within the span of 4 years, we got 14 versions. It's very rapidly evolving platform, and new features keep getting added. New changes keep coming in. But as I was telling previous to the session, the core platform is not changed. So our skills are still intact, but just that our advantage is we can keep building our skills on top of our existing skills. Uh, So what is exactly a Sitecore Experience Accelerator? It's just that the name itself suggests it's an accelerator module, which we just, in a developer terms, it's just a package module. We just install on top of Sitecore, and we can build the websites in a new way. It's just a new way to build sites for developers, and also it's mainly just provides a reusable components and reusable templated layouts, uh, so that we can bind and we can reuse it across the sites, whichever sites we build. So here are some common benefits, like there are 80 plus pre-built components, which is in the toolbox we will see in the demo. And obviously that is tenant and site is much cleaner way we can create, and it is a consistent structure. Uh, if I am seeing in one project SXA for one client project, and I am also seeing another client project, it would be a consistent structure because basics scaffolding is provided by SXA already. Internally, we will implement our own things, but the template structure and the scaffolding is common. And obviously, this is everything is built by focusing on experience editor first, and themes are available. We'll discuss themes in a moment. I'm trying to give a just brief overview of all the things so that we can go and look at the developer things, developer experience mainly. And next is, as we move into any new platform or any new things, we need to understand what are the terminologies in that platform. Uh,
So just a second, Gopi. Guys, other guys, could you please mute yourself?
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sandeep. Okay, as I was telling that whenever we are going to the new platforms or new modules, we need to understand that respective terminologies, right? So that whenever we are speaking with our other developers and other team members, we understand what we are talking about. So the terminology is very important to understand. So here are some of the terminologies, although there are few more, but these are all the basic terminologies we come across with the day-to-day activities. So if you, and we will go one by one. So tenant, toolbox, designs, most of them are related to presentations and creative exchange and asset optimizer. These are all things which we don't come across when we are working with the custom builds. These are all SXA specific terminology. Let's see what is a tenant. Tenant, in a sense, for us is mainly grouping of related sites. We are building sites in custom. We are building sites in a normal way, right? So there, we used to create some folder structures, or and we group some sites and all. Here, SXA provides us tenants. It's just like creating an item in Sitecore. Like we can just scaffold that, and as soon as we create a tenant, it will just give us a group of structures. So, and then under tenant, we can keep adding new sites. So if you notice here, we can group the we can group the tenants in a way that maybe branch wise, maybe region wise, maybe a different way. It's up to the client's requirement how we define the regions, how we define exactly tenants. And next one is toolbox. This is one of the good, our main feature, I would say, in SXA, where if we go to experience editor on any page, we just get the toolbox and we can drag and drop the components and configure them. Or we have the default way of adding, like add here, and in general experience editor we see add here, and we get the pop-up with all the components so that we can select those components. But this is much easier way to add components for content authors. And next one is mainly page design. So be it a page or partial design or rendering variants, all of them tied together in a way that it provides a consistent presentation. And if we focus on previous our presentations, they all live under each template, right? Each template standard values. So, but whereas here it's more cleaner way, like a true separation of content and presentation. Whereas previously we used to have template as well as standard value presentations, but here we have a templates altogether separate, and presentation altogether is a separate. So if you look at here, page design is just a like a mm, like a combination of multiple partial designs, where we group all those partial designs and we map it to some templates, so that whenever we are using that particular whenever we are creating particular template, particular page based on some template, we will get this consistent presentation. And partial designs mainly kind of a partial design is mainly kind of a combining multiple components. So let's see. Hang on, like if you don't understand much here, when we are seeing the demo, we will understand in detail. But just that we should be familiarized with little bit terminologies. And partial design, like page design, if you consider article page, maybe we'll create article page template and with whatever the fields we require. Now, when we are talking about partial design, sorry. When we are talking about partial design, and mainly we get like header and footer and article. It just for the example purpose, like header, article, and footer will come. So header will contain some components, and footer will contain some components. Header in a basic way, right? We will get image, which is logo, and maybe search box or some navigation. And footer will also get some navigation and maybe some other Sitecore form like contact us form and all. Whereas partial design combines all these components and make it one partial design, so that we can use it in a number of pages, a number of page designs. And if you focus some more, if we dig further, like article might have some more things, right? Article will have navigation, and also article might have page content, and article will also have promo. Maybe promo bar for that article, and page content, actual content of that article, maybe some more navigation inside the article. So in this way, we can keep adding multiple components onto the partial design, so that we can use this partial design across the page designs. And next one is mainly rendering variants, which is like we have seen the same thing, right? Page design, partial design, and components. Now the same component can be shown, like just imagine promo has like promo. There is a text there is a promo text, there is a promo image, there is a promo link, maybe etc. Kind of fields are there on the data source template. But on one page, we want to show promo with image. One page we want to show like pure text promo. In another page we want to show maybe with link. So in rendering variants provide us that option to create a variants of that component, so that we can show different content and different view in different pages. And these all a little mouthful, but in a nutshell, for developers, what are the rendering variants is? The rendering variants are nothing but items in Sitecore using which we build a HTML structure. That's a simple way to understand. And next one is themes. Themes, in a sense, like we used to have, like in general projects, in custom projects, we have, right? We have scripts, styles, and all. all these things we generally add it to the layout, whatever the custom layout we built. But whereas here, and those are all live in file system, and we keep referring on the layout. And here, when you come to SXA, theme is like everything sits in Sidecore, like be it a base themes, because Sidecore is coming out of the box with a lot of components. So if they need to work, they need to have some scripts, because if you work on tabs, if you build a tab function, if you are using a tab component that need a click functionality, right? So how does it work? It needs some script in the backend and in the background, and as well as it needs some styling, some basic theme and all basic styles. So here themes means it's just a combination of scripts, styles, and fonts, and some basic images. So that is what we mean in this SXA terms, like theme. And there are variations of themes, like basic themes, and like whatever the site themes we create. And these basic themes are already SXA provides, and these are from core libraries, which are we can inherit, which we can refer in our site themes. And basic two theme, we use it if we want to use it for a creative exchange live. Uh, but otherwise, just for a point to understand, theme is nothing but a combination of scripts and styles and fonts and images. So that just imagine if we are going for some, maybe if it is a healthcare project, maybe we are going for maybe the regular website looks in some way, but maybe some healthcare conference, health related some conference is going on. Just for that 1 week or 10 days, we want to provide different what look and feel to the site. So in that way, we can just create a custom new theme and put it here, and we change the settings to that point to that theme. Then it will be like complete look and feel will be changed. So this is much easier and much easier way to make those kind of changes as well. And next one is styles. How many times we get the requirement? Because one main thing to point out here is when we are building a custom projects, we know that when front end gives, we have full control over the HTML, because that is what that is a we don't work parallelly, right? Their front end gives us a first HTML, then we come to Sidecore and we build our component. But here SXA already comes with a lot of out of the box components. So we will see the requirements, what are the client requirements, and based on that we will see which component is more useful. But we also need to sometimes front end also need their own styling, right? Because obviously our styles need to be there, so that look and feel of the website is as per the requirements. So in that case, we just need to add some CSS classes to the existing components. So we use these styles features to add some custom styles. So if you notice here, this is kind of a restricts component. This will come, you will get this basic skeleton across all the components. And whenever you want to add a new style, you will be able to add some new style into this in the presentation layer, in the presentation folder, and we'll be able to add new style here. And next big thing is Creative Exchange. In um, when we talk about Creative Exchange, it mainly like a kind of a process to facilitate so that different teams can work in parallel. Because as I was just discussing before, like front end team used to work early, and then we take the front end, what are the HTML they build, and we will build on top of it, right? But here, as we are getting out of the box components, we can drag and drop, and we can build a skeleton of the page way upfront, and then we can export the whole site or maybe some pages. And when we are exporting, it will be just build as a static pages. So static HTML pages. So we can give it to them front end, then they can work on top of that, so that they can style those things. And once they package, and once they make it again zip file and they can give it to us, we can upload it back. And those those styles, whatever we have seen just before slide, like previous slide, all those styles can be applied. Now also there is a process which is called this import and export process is called Creative Exchange here. And there is also another term, Creative Exchange Live. We are giving them once we are exporting and we are giving it to giving it to front end, right? The HTML, everything. And again, once they make the changes, we need to they are giving us, rather they can set up some CLI and gulp tasks. I mean, already there is a settings available. If they do it, then they can directly those gulp tasks will be watching their changes. So as soon as they make the changes, it will be like on live. It will be updating onto our Sitecore, whatever the Sitecore instance it has been set for. So there is a creative exchange and there is a creative exchange live, and different teams work in different way of structures. Again, we already had good a good presentation in SUG Bangalore before, so you can watch those videos like how this whole setup works. And again, another good thing is asset optimizer. So in general projects, we implement, we get those styles and scripts, right? Either front-end team give us like fully optimized scripts, minimized and minimized ones, and sorry, concatenated and minified scripts and styles. They can give us as a one file, and we just add them into the our layouts. But here, or sometimes we might need to do from MVC perspective, like backend, we might get those files and we might minify and optimize all those things. Here, when we are talking in SXA, in SXA context, as we discussed, we are not having those files on the file system. Rather, we are having all those files in the themes as a Sitecore items. So we can configure asset. Already SXA provides us asset optimizer default one. It's just a way to optimize CSS styles and JS scripts. This can be configured either globally across the whole instance, Sitecore instance, irrespective of all the tenants and all the sites. And also we can configure that site specific. So site specific also we can configure. So what are the three settings available? Whether we can disable it completely, then it will, then obviously it will be the page load will take more time, and because it need to get a lot of files, lot of scripts and a lot of styles. Or we can concur very important when you are configuring the sites. Also, the whole structure is again in 9.3 is changed. Here we are having all the styles, all the scripts files inside core, the prior to 9.3. But once we are in 9.3, we are not having all these files. I mean, there is an option still, but there is also a new way of working there. Rather than having all these files, we can just have final optimized file itself. So this is just a brief overview of what we have, what is these terms and what is SXA. I hope everyone is clear. Let's see how it changes for our like a backend developers with the day-to-day activities, and how we used to work, and what are the changes we are seeing in SXA projects. So main thing is how the developer experience here. Before moving further, main thing I like about when we are working on SXA, as I was talking about, like consistent structure in our what we call our Sitecore item structures. Because if we are working, I guess some people are here working from so many years on Sitecore projects. We know that if a Sitecore project move between the partners and move between the developers, new developers will always have a little tough time to understand how the structure is there. Means where which items are here, which items reside where, and how the data sources are working, and maybe how the pages are structured, how the templates are structured. Helix has made very good progress in that way, because when Helix came in picture, Helix principles, we are following some consistent structure so that we have a proper patterns, and we are using all the patterns, features, foundation, and what we call project levels. so that we have a consistent structure across our Sitecore instance, so that it becomes easy when developers are new developers are get onto the different projects, or for that matter, Sitecore clients are moving between the partners. So it is much easier to work. But when you are working on further on SXA, it provides some more consistent structure across the projects. So that is a big change for us when we are working with SXA projects. But otherwise, how many of us love Sitecore PowerShell extension module? This is another popular module on popular open source module on Sitecore. I have been using this one from past 3 years. I've been working on Sitecore from past 5 years, but initial 2 years I never used it. I never got the hang of it with the PowerShell, general PowerShell. So I never explored SPE. But once I started using it, now I can't have any Sitecore instance, be it a SXA obviously need it, but even non-SXA, I can't work without SPE. This become one of the biggest toolkit in developer arsenal. So we can do n number of things on SPE. Please go and check, even if you are not working on SXA sites. Now coming back to SXA, SXA provides us a lot of scaffolding. So all this scaffolding, it is able to provide us just because of Sitecore PowerShell extension. Obviously, both the chief architects are, I mean, whoever wrote SPE, the same person has built SXA as well. His name is Adam. So he has everything is currently SPE is handled by Michael West. So he is. Feel free to check it out if you are not explored this. It will be very useful. And next point is mainly when we are moving on, as I was talking about Helix principle. So Sitecore custom to Helix and Helix to SXA, we got some more consistent structure. Now SXA, as we are seeing, all the Sitecore projects are following Helix principles, right? SXA also the similar way. It just follows the all the Helix principles when it is when it builds everything in custom in the out of the box components. So whatever it is providing 80 plus components, it's everything follows proper Helix principles. So when we are building on top of this, we can also follow the same Helix principle. So it will be a consistent. Now we talked about some basic usages, but what is that? How do I start working on it? It's a, as I said, like it's a basic thing. Is it just a module, another module, another Sitecore package module, which we can just install on Sitecore. But just few things to keep in mind when you are installing, because SXA need SPE. So Sitecore PowerShell extension we need to install before SXA. And also we need to check the compatibilities, because whatever the Sitecore version, maybe if you are working on Sitecore 9.1, maybe I guess SXA is 1.8 version is compatible. Already the kb.sitecore.net provides you that compatibility tables, which version supports which one and which SXA version need SPE which version. So so whenever we want to install, we need to install SPE first on top of Sitecore, and also we need to install SXA package. And as soon as you install a SXA package, we also get two new indexing configuration. If you are using Solar, obviously you need to create those two new indexes. If you are configure these two new indexes on your Solar, if you are working with Azure Search, obviously you can just use a configuration and just rebuild the indexes. It automatically creates on Azure Search instance. But otherwise, one more point, you need to check your whether if it is you're not able to work with this, you need to double check your license details, installed licenses. It should have that Sitecore SXA entry. And also if you are working on partner license, and you will most probably have. But if there are some client license, I mean, if you are working on particular client project, maybe that client license might not have that license. So please double check when you are trying to work with SXA. And very good thing with 9.3 is we get, I hope at least some of you or all of you have already installed 9.3 in your local and tried it. And when you are installing using GUI, that Sitecore Install Assistant, you will also get this optional module option here, so that we can just select this. We don't need to bother about these packages and all. Automatically, once this Sitecore installs, it will also install the required SPE, and also it will install that SXA for that instance. So it is much cleaner way for us to install when you are working on 9.3, and much easier. So I had that one interesting question. Somebody asked me SXA whether it has become a pre-installed module. I was little confused when they were asking that, because then I asked them. They said that no, I installed 9.3. It automatically came with SXA, because they auto selected this one. Like, we have developer habit, right? We just select some software, we just click and done. So it is not like EXM or Sitecore Forms. It didn't make it to the out of the box platform. It is still an extra module. It depends on how you select here. It will install with 9.3. And as soon as we are on some new project, right? How we start the new project, like we analyze the requirements and all. But when we are coming on to the actual implementation, we start with always site creation, right? So let's look at how it differs from our custom projects and here. So in general, custom build, I hope everyone remembers how we used to create. We used to create with configuration. We just provide a site. We just provide a patch for new site, and we will provide mainly root path and start item and some settings. And also we will provide some bindings. Obviously in IIS we need to provide some bindings, and also we need to do some host editing. If you are if you are a fan of Sitecore Instance Manager like me, then you obviously use SIM for host editor as well. So these are the few steps we used to do. And also we used to create items, right? So these items are not obviously always not obviously already present. We just need to go and create the root path and start item for this new site. But how does it differ when we are creating in SXA? So we just go and for any tenant, as we discussed before, tenant is like a group of related sites. It's like so if we can go and click on tenant, and we can just right click and create a site. So this is a little different to that whatever we used to do. And also, as soon as you click on excuse me, as soon as sorry, as soon as we click on site, we get this option to create new site and do some configuration. As I was telling, tenant and site scaffolding is already provided by SXA, and everything runs behind is a SPE, that Sitecore PowerShell extension. There are some scripts which runs and creates items. So if you see here, like, you can set these general, all the settings, and again, we can select modules and all these things. But whatever the settings we can do with the configuration, site config, whatever the host name, target host name, all the settings, once we create, there are a few options here, but once we create the site, we get to the site node, and then we can configure all the things, like enable the caching. If you are building a custom link provider, custom link manager for that site specific for that site, then you can use that as well. So all the configurations are, we can do it in the Sitecore itself. So which is kind of an item. So when we are using configuration, whatever the changes we make, we used to deploy, and obviously Apple recycles. But here, when you want to make some configuration changes, like maybe enable cache HTML, so maybe enable preview, maybe enable experience editor. So in that way, it just an item here. So there is no need for us to Apple recycle. Only just these steps will not change, because obviously you need still binding, and also because from IIS we need those URLs, and also we obviously need a host editor. I mean entry into the host. So that is still similar, but just that options like how we build the site is different here. And next one is, as soon as we build a site, we will go and we'll create some basic layout, right? Sitecore in SXA in SXA world, it's already provided with basic MVC layout, which is having all the scaffolding or what we call all the basic elements of HTML structure is already available. more or less like we can just use all the things. If you notice here, in the layout, there are asset links here, like which is using theme, and also at the bottom there is asset link scripts. So whatever we talk about those themes, the scripts and styles will get added here. Previously, we used to add just like references, right? Like CSS references and script references, like final optimized one. So here the assets are little different, and also we get these kind of a structure and visitor identification for that. Visitor identification already got added. So we get the basic structure, and we use our all the requirement mostly will suffice this MVC layout. We don't need to create again new layout, but it doesn't stop us. We can still create our own layouts. Whatever we used to do in a normal custom build, we can still do it. That is a consistency between normal site in a general site core way, because why we love site core is the extension points, right? Whatever we want, we can extend pipelines, process, we can still do it. The SXA also follows a similar structure or similar consistency, so it also provides a lot of extension points for us, and also we can do whatever we used to perform in custom projects, we can still do the same things here. And next one is we build this one, and we need to know how we configure the presentation details, right? Like what we are configuring and where we are configuring the presentation details. So in normal projects, we configure it like we go to standard values of some presentation. This is a default item we see with any installation. So we get here the basic layout and the controls, and also we get the same thing at the page level as well. So page also will get these components and layout. But whereas when we are going with SXA, as I was talking, like templates, those are decoupled now from templates. So here, if you are noticing that those are tied to the template, but when you go to SXA, those are decoupled from the template, and those are going to be reside now on on partial designs. As we discussed, partial designs will get these all the sorry, partial designs will get those components here. So, and also these partial design now, these are not tied exactly to the template, so this can be reused based on like whichever page design need this header, because header obviously you need for across the site, right? So we can just build header and footer like this, and we can configure the page design so that the page design is used in different templates. And again, okay, page designs are mapped, and also if I want some different component, if I want to the page specific component, if I need, we can still do it. Like if we can go to experience editor, and we can just drag and drop the components, and we can start working on those. So those components will still reside on here. So this is one change. Whenever in the custom builds, if anyone asks you like, okay, what all the components are on this page, we can just go to the page, and we can just open this presentation details, and we can see shared layout and final layout, what all the components are there. But that is not the case when you are on SXA projects. Even if you go to SXA project, and if you go to specific page in SXA, you will not be able to see those full combination of components, because some of them are on page design, some of them are on page, some of them are on different page designs. So you will not be able to find exact all the components on the page just by going to the page page presentation details. So we need to check partial designs of that, as well as the page presentation details. And if you remember how many times we would have done these activities for the each projects. Although I know that some of the partners have their own base implementation, so that they can reuse this across the clients, like different clients. But now SXA provide this kind of a it is solving these boilerplate problems, because these are very like without these things we don't have any projects. Like Fabicon, we always write code and we just put it there. And also robot text, how many times we just provide some setting item and with the field, so that content authors can enter that robot text. And how many times there is a question that which sitemap module to use, which marketplace module. Again, redirects also similarly, like which redirect marketplace module we use. And error handling, not found, I mean, the 404 and 404 and 500 error pages. And we can configure here with the like basic either static pages or the dynamic items as well. And one different you will feel when you are working on SXA is, we know, right? It doesn't, it might be either Unicorn or it might be TDS. We all version control those items, what are the changes we make. But one challenging aspect in SXA is SXA, whenever you create using the script like right click, and if you create a site, there is a lot of scaffolding happens, and a lot of places those items gets created. You will not know exactly where and all these items until you have a good understanding of how these structures and all work. So this becomes a little bit challenging, because we need to know where and all these items present, so that we can version control them properly, so that we can make those items part of the deployment. So one example I just put it here is, we will get always conflicts, right, with the site manager, which site need to resolve first, which site need to resolve later, and maybe we'll change the ordering and all. What if we want to serialize this item, we want to version control this item, these changes, where these changes are there, where these changes, until you know exactly where these changes, you will not be able to find, because these are not just on one item. This is all provided by the PowerShell, and it is combining all those combination of items and is showing us here. But when we make these changes, where it will save in, like, if you notice here in the here, system settings, foundation, experience accelerator, and multi-site and management and sites. So this is where it will save the order of it, so that if you want to version control and we want to serialize this item. So this is one challenging while you are working on SXA. So you need to know the structures, so that you know which to serialize. Okay. And next one is customizations. So this is where we generally, our actual backend works will come into the picture when we are working on SXA. And first few things are like custom styles. We already just looked at how we create one more. Sorry, can you guys go on mute? Okay. Custom style, when we are talking about here, we already seen that how to add just one new class to the components. So there is no code required for this, and rendering variants, as we can build a HTML structure using items. Also, there is, if we need some extra customizations, we can do with the code. And data source configuration. What if already component is provided for us? I mean, out of the box component, whatever the promo component has some certain number of fields. Maybe I need extra fields for that component. I may not require to completely customize the component. I can just use the data source configurations to just extend the template, and for the whole site, I can just use the settings and done with it. So that new fields will be used across the site, and we can build a rendering variant for it. But clone or customize the component, this is where from here we just get some kind of a coding work. So clone or customize either the same component, maybe I was talking about other day, like promo component. Maybe I also want to build some call to action component. Maybe it's a kind of a similar closure to the promo component, right? Maybe I want to, maybe I need to clone the component and customize account to me, and all account to that project. Or if I have a case that my front end team has given different HTML and that need a full view change, maybe restructure the view. So in that way also I can use, although you can use a data source configuration, but there are some ways we need to use in the cloning. Here the term is a little confusing, because whenever we talk about clone in normal custom projects, we talk about clone means that's a reference, right? I mean, we are referring one item. I mean, when we are making a, it's not exact copy, it's a copy, but it is also having a reference to the original item, so that whenever we are making change, it will also reflect in the referenced item. But whereas in this, when we are talking about cloning component, like clone rendering script, it will run, it will just create an exact copy of it, so that we can go and customize it. And again, custom components. So custom components are just equal to however we build in general Sitecore projects. And we can make those components be SXA compatible by providing those styling and using those some standard controller and rendering model base. So inheriting some repositories and everything. Or we can also, we have the freedom to build completely custom component as well, like how we build in, how we usually build in projects. So this is where actually more our work focuses on backend work. And one thing I wanted to talk in this is tokens. Although just I'll take few minutes and we just go to the, although I have some more time, I guess. Tokens. So this term is like very confusing because there are a lot of places we use this term in whole normal project and in even SXA as well, because everything is like token, but just these terms are little different in, I'll just quickly run through these slides so that we can get to the demo. So we all know that standard values is like every day we use dollar name, all these common ones. There are query tokens which are used for the data sources and like multi-list source and maybe tree list source and all. And variants. Variants are like rendering variant tokens, and there are also SXA out of the box search tokens. And also there is a content tokens which is SXA specific. So let's quickly run through, and all these things except the content tokens, because content tokens just we don't need any code for that. But all these first four, there are out of the box tokens, and also we can customize if you want to build new one. Quickly run through, like these are all the common tokens we already seen. And if you want to build custom token for the standard values, so we can just use expand initial field value processor here, just server date, there is a new token and you can just patch the processor here. And this is at the query level tokens. These are all very useful if you are like building some source and all, rather than hard coding the path of that item. I mean, where your data source specific, where your like data source location, you can use this token so that it can be, this component can be reused in other sites as well. So that's the reason we have these tokens, query tokens. So I'm just trying to make you familiarize with these terms, so don't get confused. And also we have custom tokens here, like again we can create some resolve tokens processor and we can build. I just added some screenshots here, so, and also you can we'll share the deck, we can go through the proper blog and we can see how to build that query level new token. And next one is rendering variant token. Whenever we are building these rendering variants, we can use these tokens as well. There is a token item. So these are the four tokens available already. Again, we can just we can add again custom tokens as in we require. And fourth one is SXA search tokens. Whenever we are using SXA search building, the build query, we can use these tokens. So these are like some of them. We can like under current page, exclude current page. So kind of a query building. We can use these SXA search tokens, or we can build again same. We can build our own tokens as well. So resolve search query tokens, and we can just build our token and we can just add it to the resolve search this processor, this pipeline, and so that we can pass our processor. And last one is these content tokens are nothing from our side specific. Like we don't need to do much from the backend perspective, but just that we need to understand how these are what is the name of this content token. It's just that whenever we use this, whenever we create some new content token, we just get the key and value. So whenever we are using this key in any of the place, in any of the content, in the runtime, it just replaces with the value. So maybe some versions, some other values, maybe if we want to change, we can use this way. And how we configure, we can just go to rich text editor, and there will be a new button when you are using SXA related profiles, rich text editor profiles. You get this option, and when you click on it, you get this content token and copyright. So we can select that options. Next one is, like everybody is waiting for this, right? You're already working and you've already seen all those things before itself. What is the difference thing in SXA 9.3? As I was telling before, there is nothing radically changed how you work with the day-to-day activities from a site code developer's perspective. But just that some flow and some new things came in place. biggest change is I borrowed some decks from Symposium session itself directly rather than creating again those sessions, and I also gave the link here. So if you want to look at the original decks, you can do it as well. Mm. But in general, SXA previous versions like 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1. So like that, it was always confusing for us when we are working, because which Sitecore version supports, we always need to go and check Sitecore compatibility table. But big change from SXA 9.3 is they renamed it. It's not 1.10. It's like it is 9.3. So from now onwards, whenever we are seeing Sitecore version, that would be having upcoming version that would also have same version for SXA as well. So it is much easier for us. And also just two search components released with 9.3, like aggregated facet filter and facet summary. But let's go further. Main big change in 9.3, I would say, is a complete workflow change from front-end perspective. Previously, we used to have all the files, as I was talking about, those theme, every file styles, all the things would be reside in as items here itself. But whereas now, all the things already pre-optimized. There would be only one file. All those files would be like single source of truth. It would be part of a front-end developers. So they will have their own version control. They can manage those assets, but only compiled assets would be in the Sitecore tree. So rather than having a big tree here, it will just have one item. So, and also there is a CLI using command line interface, SXA command line interface. Directly we can just front-end developers can connect to the Sitecore instance and directly create those themes. So yeah, as you read here, like no unnecessary files in media library. This workflow is a little different to previous ones. And another big change is Scriben template engine. Previously, we used to have nVelocity templates. Those are always present, but it is a little difficult to work. But whereas with the Scriben templating engine, we can build actually everything. If you are seeing the structure here, everything we can build, and already there is a lot of extensions already provided by SXA team, like iitem, iData source, iSite, iHome, and SC field. A lot of these extensions and properties provided by SXA team. When this is mainly targeted towards front-end developers, so where they can build all these. This is another variant in the rendering variant, so they can create full control over the HTML rather than creating rendering variant lot of items. We can just create one template and have this full structure. Again, SXA team has built Visual Studio special different code extension. So because it provides us IntelliSense, and when they are using Creative Exchange Live, so automatically when they make scribbles, when they make new templates, and when they're making the changes, it will automatically sync with Sitecore instance. Previously, when we are exporting the site or pages, we only get the media, everything. Now, when the Scriben is from 9.3, you will also get the Scriben templates part of the export package, so that we can give it to front-end team. But let's quickly look at the demo. And main thing is I'm not built something on my own. I'm using which are two great implementations provided by two different persons. One is by Mark. He's a technical evangelist for SXA. He works in Sitecore, and another one is Alan. So I previously used to refer this SXA reference, but SXA Style Guide is a new one, which is released from 9.3. But both I have the installed. Whereas SXA Style Guide is very easy to install, because you get a package and you can just install the package on top of your SXA. So you can see full site which is built on SXA, and you can see each component behavior, how it works. Both are again not for like reusable purpose. I mean, you should not be putting these things straight away in your projects. It's just mainly for the educational purpose. Whoever is new developers, it's very good thing for us to understand. It is very easy for us to understand when you are following these sites. And we will see at the structure how it is, and maybe I'm already running out of time. Sorry for that, but we will also see how the toolbox and basic structures are there. But otherwise, if I'm leaving the presentation, I'll leave out with this quotation. Like there is a huge misconception, I would say, like most of them just tag SXA projects with a zero code approach. That was not the intention. Our main goal is to build a site which can be managed by content authors, and which can have a consistency when they are managing the content. So that is the main goal. It is a good quotation from the David under Sitecore MVP. Let's quickly jump to demo. Okay, this one. I already okay. Let's go to. I have two versions, and with as I was telling about, one has a style guide, another one has. Let's leave it the. Let's leave the other SXA reference side, but just go to the mainly style guide. So if you notice here, if you see here, style guide has this different. This is a site comes with the style guide. Everything is built as a from SXA components, out of the box components. So we can browse the pages and we can see the components and all. Let's quickly see how the structure will look like in Sitecore. If I come here, so this is a tenant which is already created, and this is a style guide site which is a package of that provided by Mark, and both are open source modules. And if you see here, this is how the structure will be like. Even though if you go to another Sitecore instance which is having another SXA sites, so home, media, data, presentation, and settings. So most of the time we will be playing around presentation and settings, because this is where we work most of the things as a developers. And otherwise, if we quickly check, media is um, these are not the items which are residing here. Media. Previously, always we have media at the media library level, right? But this media is also referring from there. It is just we call a scoped view of the media library, so that content authors can quickly see what all the media items are configured for this site. So these are site specific, and the tenant shared one is showing here. So this is a scoped view of media, but and the next one is data. So this is where you get all the when you create the site and when you select the modules, we get all these options, all the default data source items. So when we go here and we can just click and we can create those accordion and all those data. Whenever we are building custom components, we obviously create our data here only. I mean, we create the data folders here as well. And next one is mainly presentation. This is where I was talking about page designs and partial designs. So if you go to page design and partial design, just take the case of default. So if we go to the default default page design, here how many partial designs are mapped: header, empty, metadata, and footer. Metadata is one common one where all the SEO things are already configured, already will be rendered, be it OG tags and be it a Twitter tags, and what are the page meta keywords and page meta properties. All these things are already configured using the metadata. And if we come here, we see header, all these things configured, right? And if you go to site partial, header, and footer. So if I go to header, this is where your actual presentation will be present. So MVC layout, and if you see here, you will have all these components configured. And same you will have at the footer level, and it has its own data. This is one thing you need to get familiarized with, because we are not going to have everything on the home item, everything on the page items. So here it just have a layout, and it also has its own, because these are page specific components. Otherwise, it might be referring some one page design, and that page design will have that particular partial designs. So that's how we configure these things: partial design and page design, and rendering variants and styles. I'm 1 second. I'm running out of time, I guess. But there are these kind of what we call we just quickly looked at styles, right? So we can create some style and we can configure allowed renderings so that uh, content authors will have the flexibility. They can select these styles. Let's close all this. We can open a page in Experience Editor and we can start looking at how it was built. Um, come on, load. Okay, if you notice here, we are getting all the full full page in the Experience Editor, right? Main thing, 2 points to notice here is we get a new tab, which is Experience Accelerator, with all the lot of options which are specific to Experience Accelerator. I mean specific to SXA. And right side, if you notice, you get the toolbox. This is the one where all the out of the box config what are the configured out of the box components will appear here, and then we can just start drag and drop and we can just start working on the components. So if we go to, but I want to understand what all the components configured at this level and what all the page designs and partial designs also configured, right? So if we go to page designs here on top, and if you notice here, there is a tick mark which is like this home template or home page. It is using this default template, default page design. And what are all partial designs it is using? Now we can go to here and we can see what are the partial design. It is using empty metadata. Also, as soon as we mouse over, we will know what all the components are there. And page partials, nothing. Side partial, if you notice header, as soon as I mouse over header, you are getting in the background that all the highlighters, right? That means all those components are part of header partial design. If you want to modify something, we need to go to that header partial design. We can directly click and go there. And also same case, if we go to footer, we can go to that footer component. Let's go to header. We can see what are the components configured there. So if you notice here, this is the image. So this is the image component, image reusable, just that we can configure the image. And main thing I was talking about styles, right? If you click on this, you get the styling option. Everything, like as we are discussing, like this is a experience editor first. Everything, whatever we can configure everything here itself directly. So if you notice here, we getting a lot of these styles, right? Some of them are out of the box, some of them are like custom styles. If you want to if you want to add a border right to the component, we can just click on this and select. So let's close this. And also, if you want to add, there is some main placeholder, right? We get some common placeholders which are main, sorry, header, footer, and head, footer, and main. And we can drag and drop some components here. If you want to part of this header partial design, we can just drag and drop the page content. So page content will need some content field, so it will refer that. If you want to change the rendering variants, we can change. As I'm not covering all these things because there are very good videos available and good documentation available on how to configure each and every piece of rendering variant. Take this session as just a basic overview of what all things are available and how do you just be familiarized with these terms and all, and how the pages are built. So if you want to configure the rendering variants, we can just go and configure, and we can configure the new rendering variant from the site structure here. So that's why I was not covering that. I wanted to show from there. But otherwise, if you go to here, we are configuring at the page content. Now you can see all the rendering variants here. Now we can go and select, we can create new rendering variant, and you will get the option here to select. So that's pretty much basic thing about the rendering variant. But otherwise, as you know, each and everything as a it's mainly reduces, I mean, mainly remove our development activities from all these common things which we used to build for each and every project. How many times we have to build navigation? How many times we had to build on each project breadcrumb? How many times we had to build some carousel component? How many times like accordion? maybe some tabs, maybe some image, maybe some rich text. So all these components we used to build a lot, right? But now that most of these components are like available out of the box. It's just that we just need to drag and drop and configure the settings and give it to the front end so that they can style it accordingly. Just quickly see here like what all the components are available. Like these are all like accordion, carousel, flip, snippets, and tabs. These are kind of a composites which are like which can have another components reside in them. Because when you are moving on tabs, if you are moving between the tabs, maybe you want some content which is part of the first tab. So that will be part of that component. And I'm not going to again language selector, site selector. If you are on in the tenant level, you will see the sites there, engagement, again, these configurations. It's events, how many times we build events. So we can just use these events and form wrappers and all maps, media. Most of the components are available. It's just that sometimes we might need some integrations to the third party system and we might need some specific our own project related one. Then we go with the custom components. So even though our mainly job is to build those custom components, but we need to be familiarized with all the available components so that we understand that before building any custom component, we know that we know all these components so that we can relate that, okay, this requirement will be which component we can use for this particular requirement. But if we don't know that, we will build everything as a custom component. So we need to be familiarized with all these components. And compared to all this, one more thing is search. Like how many times we go and build again whole search page and with the search box, and we work with the front end and we build some API calls, JSON, and they bind it. So paginations and autocomplete. So all these things, right? But whereas here, when you come with SXA, all these things are out of the box already. If you notice, all these components are already available. So we can just drag and drop, and we can just configure these, do few settings. We can straight away see the we can straight away see the search behavior. So these are few things, but otherwise, I just wanted to show you um, site thing, and then we can see how the site is. Settings, collapse. Yeah. So search engine, we can set it up here, and robot text and error handling, we can set it here. Page error handling. All these things, as we saw, like some of the common activities which we do in all the projects, which are already available here. We can just configure favicon. All these things we can configure in the site setting. And browser title, it's already available. We can just configure the browser title here. It will be available there. And main site settings, the actual site. Yeah, if you go to style guide, this is where your site item is resides. So whatever we used to do in the configuration, we can do it here, like style guide and site name. We can bind target host name, which is like outgoing links, and host name, which is kind of incoming links, and virtual folder, start item. All these settings we used to do with configuration, right? But here we can configure directly here. And if you build some custom link provider, we can provide those link provider class name here. And also the language and few settings here, like to enable cache, preview, web edit, debugger, all these things. Everything is like kind of a settings here. So let's hide that. So all these, if you hide the standard fields, like you get all these things out of the box. And indexes, we can configure like site specific indexes. If you want to use the style guide, another one index, we can configure here. If we have another site, maybe that other site need another custom index, we can configure like in that site configuration here. So like this, most of the things are here. We can just reuse, and we can just configure things here. Let me just, before closing, I'll just show you a page built using what we call search. 1 second. Let me build another this one. And movies. This is part of SXA reference site. I will wrap up with this. I hope the index were rebuilt. Yeah. Yeah, again, we also get this privacy warning component with the SXA, so that cookies can be configured. And if you notice here, whatever you're seeing here, it is just configured out with using out of the box using out of the box components. So we can just select how many pages, how many results per page, what is the sorting order, and what is the types, kind of facets, different facets, and we can close, and we can also do a multi-select here. All these things will take a lot of time and effort because it's a same things again and again we are rebuilding, right? What SXA does is it will allow us to focus on more complex tasks than the repetitive tasks for us, especially from the backend perspective, so that these things can build very quickly. We generally use we will have like landing pages, right? Maybe we have ton of blog articles or blog pages or article pages. We just build quickly landing page using search. It just works perfectly fine. So I just wanted to close out with this. Although SXA is not just a 1 hour thing because it has a lot of things to cover, but what was my intention to cover as much as a basic level of ground, not too much advanced, not again going with how SXA supports those parallel development, creative exchange, export, import, all these basic, again, those things, because those are already covered. I just wanted to show you that what all the backend activities are differ here, how things we see when we are working on SXA projects, and how we see things when we are on the Sitecore custom builds. Yep, I'm open for questions. So if you have anything, need not necessarily that SXA, in general, Sitecore questions also are welcome because anybody can answer. I hope we have questions for time. I hope we have time for questions.
I have one question. Sorry.
Yeah, Ranjit, is it Ranjit?
Yeah. I have one question. Earlier we have like rendering parameters we used to
Yes.
have non-SSA. So is it very similar rendering variant and rendering parameter?
No, rendering variant and rendering parameters are different. Again, we are using the same level of, same rendering parameters here as well. That concept is used here as well. If you go to here, any component, if you see, and you go to here, edit component properties, it will get you this styling, right? What is this styling? This is all rendering parameters only. Rendering parameter templates based on that. But rendering variant is something new. It just provides you configuration here. It's just a extra variant. You configure here, it changes the behavior of the component. Like maybe you want to see different things. And also it is best practice to configure thumbnail so that we content authors will be able to see if I'm selecting particular variant, how the behavior would be. But not exactly similar. Rendering variants and rendering parameters are not similar. It's different. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi, Suma this side. I have a question here. When I install that SXA, so we are getting every the structure on the master database only, right? But how
Yes,
we
yes.
can transfer this data to web?
No, I mean, you can just publish, right? You can just go and
But we are not able to publish like the site structure, the the tenant directly.
no,
Can
you
you?
will be able to. Okay, see, we are on the master, right? I'll just go here and I'll just open this one. I'll just go to web. We have the tenant here. It's like you publish a site, you will get everything. I mean, publishing
Oh.
a site means you can publish a site here. Or if you want to publish that, let me get back to master. I don't want to be on web. But if you publish the, if you right click here, you can publish item as well. If you publish the item, and you can publish whole sub items. Maybe
No,
you
it's
have
not,
some specific.
Can you uncheck and try to publish a single item like the site code only? Actually, it's not working. I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
I can create one tenant. Maybe, yeah, I can just show you. But in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, so composites and build a new tenant. Just SUG Pune.
Hi, Gopi, I have a question. I have worked on 8.2 versions, but I was about to start learning SXA and site code JSS. So, which is a good option, like to